What's up, comic and pop culture fans? I have submitted hundreds, thousands actually, of books off to CGC and CBCS. When you do it for that long, you start to develop a real eye for what really is a 9.8 and what's not. So much so that there are books that have gotten a 9.8 every single time it happens. But there are also books that I have tried desperately to get 9.8s from, multiple copies sent on different submissions, different years, different circumstances, never seem to be able to get the 9.8. So I thought we'd have a little fun today and I'd give you a list of about probably 20 books that I just can't get it. It's just not happening. Number 1, Detective Comics 666, gorgeous Bane cover, Kelly Jones, my favorite artist. This is a book I've submitted 5 times to CGC. Each time was a different circumstance and a different book, and each time it has gotten a 9.6 unless I pre-screened for a 9.8, which just didn't come back to me because it didn't get graded. Eventually I secured my copy for my Nightfall collection, but I had to buy it off of eBay, and that's a kind of a rare book to get graded, so I had to do some real waiting for that one. Next up is a total James book, Batman and Robin Adventures 25. Here's a weird collection I have. I actually have this entire run in 9.8. This is the final issue. It's got a full all-black spine, and it is the last piece of that puzzle, and I can't get it. I've sent it off several times. One time it got a 9.6, one time it got an 8.5. Something happened in the book that I missed it. That's a tough one, and unfortunately I can't just give up because I've got the whole run in 9.8. I gotta finish it. Simpsons Comics and Stories. So Bongo's Simpsons #1 gotten a 9.8 every time. I've submitted 4 copies, 4 different books. They've gotten a 9.8 4 different times. Simpsons Comics and Stories, completely different situation. It is a polybagged book, so you already know you got to do a good pressing job here. Regardless, I've found ones that look absolutely gorgeous, no spine ticks, which always for that book is really hard. Sent it off, and each one got a 9.6. So I've yet to get one on that book. Luckily, a 9.6 of that book is really sharp. I still have one in the personal collection. Next up is one I can't really explain. Detective Comics 647 from 1992. First appearance of Stephanie Brown. I have submitted so many Detective Comics from those similar years. Get a 9.8, some of them every time. I can't get it for this book. I've submitted this book 5 times. Sometimes it's been pre-screened and it just doesn't come back to me. I know I had a duplicate. I can't remember if they were 2 9.4s or 2 9.6s, and then the rest were just pre-screens. They didn't get the grade. What is it about this book? I'll never know because there's never any grader's notes. Mystery. Next up, XMen Annual 14. Here's a book that I've found more than a few times that look absolutely gorgeous. I'm talking like 9.9 looking, absolutely clean, almost looks like to be a surefire 9.8. I have submitted that 3 times. One time it got a 9.4 and 2 times it got a 9.6. Now granted, those are great grades for that book, and I've actually come to learn with people talking on Instagram and whatnot that everybody's in the same boat. No one can seem to get a 9.8 of this thing. If you guys have, you're one of the lucky ones. Oh my god, this next one I've submitted 8 times. Green Lantern 201, first appearance of Kilowog. I've had 4 9.6s. I've had 3 9.4s, and I've had 1 9.2 of this book. Each time I've submitted it, it either looks perfect or maybe one tiny little error. Regardless, each time I've gotten it back, there's never been a shred of any grader's notes. So I'll never know why I can't get that book in a 9.8. I'll never know. Black Panther #1, the 1998 one. This is the first appearance of Okoye. From recent memory, I got a 9.4. I got 2 9.0s, much to my dismay, and 1 9.6. So what's up with this book? I just can't seem to get it. This is one that I've kind of thrown in the towel. I can't seem to get a 9.8. And if I had 2 books that got a 9.0, I'm more off than I'd like to be on that book. I think I've given up on that one. Next up, Batman 358. Now, this is the first cover appearance of Killer Croc. This list is mostly 90s and 2000s stuff that I think can realistically get a better shot at getting a 9.8, but for luck would have it, I have come across ridiculously sharp versions of this book. So much so that it's inspired me to send it each time. I've sent it 3 times. Each time it's gotten a 9.6. Really regretting that 9.8 that I used to have from eBay that I sold for a stupidly low price. Shadow of the Bat 17. Fans of the channel for a little while, you probably know this one. This was the last piece of my Nightfall collection. Shadow of the Bat 17 and 18, 9.8, no problem. First try. Shadow of the Bat 17, 9.6, 9.6, 9.6, 9.6, and then pre-screen for a 9.8, I sent 20 books. 2 finally got the 9.8. So it took 25 or more books, all in that pristine, Mint-Hunter approved looking copy. 2 of them finally got it. I don't know what it is about that book, but next time you look on the CGC census, you can have a laugh when you see the number of 9 6s. Because that's me. Next up, Amazing Spider-Man 365, First Spidey 2099. Here's one that I'm really jealous, because I had a buddy that submitted 25 of these. 25 copies. He used to work in a comic book store. 23 of them got the 9.8. I've sent that book 5 or 6 times, and I can only get a 9.6. 9.8 seems to be impossible for me. It looks like a book that can get it, too. It's kind of more sturdy. It's a nice one. Each time, I can't quite get that one. That's okay. Ooh, Infinity Gauntlet #1. This is a book that I would always include in pre-screens. You know, back when it only cost $5. If your book didn't get the grade, I used to send that off every time. I had a bunch of Infinity Gauntlet #1s. They were all near minty. Sent them off. None of them ever got it. This past year, I went to Florida, and for $10, I grabbed a newsstand copy, which I sent to the Jim Starlin signing, and he signed it, and it got the 9.8 finally. Detective Comics 575. Again, another detective comic book, this one from 1987, so it is a little older, but listen, I've sent in year 2s plenty of times off to CGC. Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, I get those to be a 9.8, no problem. Somewhat frequently. 575, 9.6, 9.6, 9.6, 9.6. Can't get it. I actually have given up on that book. You can only do something so many times, you get a little disenchanted to it. But maybe the next one I find that's really crispy, I'll send it to CBCS, try my luck there, but even still, I think I threw in the towel on that one. Batman 417, first appearance of KG Beast. This is another one I've submitted several times, I think probably 4 or 5 times, and I've gotten a 9.6 every time. And you know what? That is a book I would love to have a 9.8 in my collection. I think I'm going to have to just suck it up and buy that one on eBay. I don't know how many more attempts of that book I can try. Batman 635, first appearance of Jason Todd as the Red Hood. Lucky for this book, a 9.6, a 9.4, a 9.2, a 9.0, an 8.5 are still good grades for this key. It's a nice, chunky, big boy book. Unfortunately, I've never been able to get a 9.8. I've done a couple where it was a pre-screen, which was stupid because I would have been happy with a 9.4 or 9.6. I've also gotten a 9.4 and I've gotten a 9.6. So far it hasn't worked out with that book for me, but I haven't closed the door on that one. If I ever find another really sharp copy in the wild, I'll probably submit that one again. Next up is New Mutants 87. It's the first appearance of Cable. Here is a book I have given up. I actually only got one 9.6 ever. The rest I just get 9.4s. It's like I'm stuck in like a 9.4 prison on that book. Can't get a 9.8. First appearance of Cable. I'd love to have it, but that's a character that also doesn't mean that much to me, to be quite frank, so someone else can take a shot at it. Batman 423, 1988 book. I've submitted plenty of Batman books from the late 80s. For example, I've gotten 2 copies of The Death of Jason Todd in 9.8, but this one, I just can't get it. This Todd McFarlane book, every year, despite what the market is doing, this book gets bigger and bigger. To the point where I kind of don't understand it, but whatever. I've gotten a 9.6, a 9.4, and a 9.2. One of those was a newsstand too, but I can't remember. All those grades are great for those books. Unfortunately, I sold them definitely at the wrong times, definitely sold them for stupid prices. I still don't know why I can't get that one though. Oh, Swamp Thing 90. First appearance of Tefe Holland. Really underrated. It was actually in my underrated DC Keys video. However, I've actually gotten my hands on some really nice copies of this. And I've sent them to CGC, and every time I was looking too much at because the book is kind of rare, I was looking at the graded value and the raw value, and it doesn't list it as that high, so I always put it in on a pre-screen, which is stupid because I would love to have a 9.6, 9.4. I'd love to have an 8.5 of that book. I really regret selling those raws when they came back to me. New 52, Free Comic Book Day version number 1, first appearance of Simon Baz. I've sent it 4 times. Every single time it gets a 9.6. 9.6, nothing but. Finally, this last year I went to a con and someone had a 9.8 and it was way better than the prices on eBay, believe it or not. At a con too. So I snagged that, so I do have one in the personal collection, which I'm really happy about. Those copies I sent were gorgeous. Crazy I can't get it. Uncanny X-Men 266. I actually can't even get a 9.6. I've had 3 9.4s come back of this book. One of them even was a 9.4 off-white to white pages. These were all books that I looked at very carefully and thought that they could legitimately get a 9.8. It is also, however, a book that I want in my PC, but I do not want to pay outright on eBay for. I want to get it and submit it myself. The door is not closed on that. I'm still trying to get that one, but for whatever reason, it's a toughie. Okay, this next one I can't explain. Batman 475, first appearance of Renee Montoya, kind of a smaller key. I've submitted plenty of early Batman 90s books. I've gotten 9.8s time and time again. This one evades me. I do think I did get one 9.8, but I turned it around so fast that it's almost like a dream. Like, did I get a 9.8 of that? I think I did, though. But every other time, it's been 9.6 Haven. Again, 9.6, great grade. However, when you do it enough and try to get the 9.8, it can get a little frustrating when it doesn't happen. Winding down here, we got the first appearance of Damian Wayne with Batman 655. This is a book I used to own in a 9.8 and I stupidly sold it in a moment of weakness. In 2020, I was really strapped for cash, so I've said on this channel before, I got rid of so much stuff. That was just one of many. And since then, I've been submitting. I can't get it back into 9.8. I have gotten nothing but 9.6s of that book. I'm not discouraged to it, but it's just weird that I just can't make that happen. I thought I'd end this list with a bang. Green Lantern issue 141. Now, it's from 1981. First appearance of Omega Man. It's a big one. I had been hunting this book specifically for almost 10 years. I wanted that really, really sharp copy. I have gotten 9.4, 9.6, 9.4, 9.6, 9.4, 9.2, 9.6, 9.4. You get where I'm coming from. Finally, this past year, I did finally get a 9.8, and that's out. I'm done. I'm not submitting that book again. It has been a nightmare trying to get that in a 9.8. That and that Shadow of the Bat book, it's been tough. And again, 9.4s and 9.6s of the first appearance of Mega Men for such a difficult book. Great grades, absolute killers, especially with an underrated book like that. A 9.6 and 9.4 prices are kind of the way to go. But I do finally have it as a 9.8 in the collection, and it's been a long time coming. Anyway, guys, if you are heavy submitters or were in the past, let me know what books that just never really happened for you. You could never get that 9.8. I'm definitely want to know. These are my absolute unobtainables. They're just not happening for me. Anyway, I would love to know. Let's have a conversation down below. And as always, guys, keep on hunting, however that may be for you.